you know that they are not qualified.
Anglican church, you can't have unqualified pastors. You have to go with to school.
With all this trouble going on.
In Anglican church, we don't have that. We train you. You have to go to school. You go to theological school, and then after the theological school, you'll be ordained a deacon, and then you'll be a deacon for about 1 year, and then you'll now be made a priest. So that's the uniqueness in our church, that we have an order and we have a way of ordering.
But you have not answered the question. What qualifies you to go to that school?
What qualifies you?
To go to that, to go
you
to
have to feel a sense of call by God to that ministry. You have to feel called by God.
How do you know that you've been called? Because that is our problem. How do we know that you have been called by God?
For me, I will tell you how I knew. I knew because God spoke to me, and it was confirmed by other people who also were around me.
In the dream or somewhere.
All right, Dan.
There are many ways. Okay, you can take my phone number. I'll talk to you about that.
Doctor, sorry that I'm asking a lot of questions.
No, it's a valid question.
Because this is a very sensitive issue in Nigeria, where there's proliferation of churches everywhere. And sometimes we keep wondering, is it because people are not employed, so they go into church to find a job? Because they are so rich, many of them, after joining this church. That is my concern. I don't want to embarrass your guests, but I was just trying to see if I can get to the root of this, because like you said, doctor, in your introduction, this thing is not happening only in that church. These are problems in many churches. If you understand, this trouble of somebody come to power and he wants to dominate, because, and if I make that last point before I drop, it's sometimes it's because of money. When it comes to the treasury of the church, that is where this trouble starts. Thank you. I will rest my case now.
All right, Bishop. You want to
not just money? I think power has a part to play in it, because some people have money. It's not just about money. I mean, if you ask yourself, somebody who has money and has bullion van for money, and is walking and shaking and still wants to be president, it's not looking for money, right? So it's not all about money. People, there's something about power. And then there's also the problem of, remember that, and I don't know if this is unique to us Black people, when we get into power, transition is always a problem. You hardly find people say, I have served my term 4 years and hand over. No. What you will find is, when it's almost that 4 years, the person will find a way of drumming up some sentiments from some people to say, hey, this man has done so well, even though it's 4 years, that is normally supposed to be the term. But in his case, is there a way we can make it? Let us extend it. Let us review the constitution. And the constitution will now state, then they will now bring one new constitution that now says that the term will not be 4 years anymore. It is now 8 years. And since the constitution that we used to vote him, when we appoint him, was for 4 years, now that we don't have a new constitution that says 8 years, we renew his contract, but now it's for 8 years. So it happens in church, it happens in institutions. You go to universities, the vice chancellor his time is up. He finds a way of looking for some professors who will try to campaign and change the rules. So the church is like is part of the community. And some of the things that affect the community, we are not isolated. We are not isolated from it. The greed, the selfishness of man. Retirement age is supposed to be 70. There are people that, when you look at them, they are looking like 90-something, but they say they are not retired. They are supposed to retire at 70. What has happened is that somehow, and then you suddenly find out that their younger brother has celebrated 80 years, but the person who's supposed to retire at 70 has not retired. I mean, these are some of the things we find. And they're shameful, they know the right things, but they're just expressions of humans' selfishness, greed, and wanting to hold on to power.